Hi, Jimmy Deverell here from the Spotlight team with Keller Williams Realty in beautiful Tyler, Texas. Elizabeth and I would like to welcome you to part two in our series. In this video, we're going to talk about the price details for the foreclosures here in the Tyler and East Texas area. Again, this is part two of our Navigating East Texas Tyler Area Foreclosure series. Well, one of the questions we get a lot when we show foreclosure properties is, are prices negotiable? Will they, do you have to offer what they're asking? Is that bottom dollar? And the reality is that as it is with all residential properties, they do negotiate on foreclosures, and essentially it's the same criteria that they'll look at when they do that. What kind of condition is the property in? Where is it located? And how long has it been on the market? If they feel like they need to move a property, they may be more apt to be negotiable in the price. Now, to kind of get an understanding about how much negotiation goes on, because you hear a lot of things. In some cases, you hear 10 cents on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar. So you see a lot of ads with different things. And so it's important to kind of look at the items that have actually sold to get an idea of how negotiable these properties are on average. And what we see when you look at the foreclosures that have sold so far this year, the average list price as a percentage of what it sold for was about 92%. What that means is that essentially, on average, they're selling for about 8% less than what they're listing for. Now, when you look at all of the properties in the range, you'll see that that ranges from a low of 50%, so there are some that have actually sold for about half of what they were listed at, to a high of 136%, meaning there's been some that have actually sold for 36% more than what they were listed at. Now, when you look at all of the data, what you'll actually find is that most foreclosures are selling for amounts closer to the list price than those that don't. In fact, almost 70% of those that sold for 90% or greater of the list price. And looking here, you'll see that for those that sold less than 70% of the list price to sold price was just a little over 4%, and those that sold at 95% or greater list price accounted for over 44%. Now, in terms of what kind of foreclosure prices are we seeing, the average price of sold foreclosures so far is about $106,369. How does that compare to the average overall residential price? The average price right now is running about $160,000, so running less than what you would see there, and that attributes to why you see some more of those sold. The median price of sold foreclosures is about $80,000 right now. The median price of regular residential is about $135,000. So both of those numbers actually running less than what the regular properties are running. Now, when you look at all, again, looking at them in whole, the price of residential foreclosures really ranges from a low of $14,009 to a high of $747,000. So something in every range, definitely something for everybody who's interested in getting into this. Now, having said that, the majority of the sold foreclosures have actually been under the $100,000 level. So when you look at all the different properties, you'll see that 57%, a little over 57%, have actually been 100,000 or less, and the others have been over 100,000. And actually, what we're beginning to see now is a few more properties, more of the foreclosures showing up in the higher ranges. Early on in the foreclosure kind of cycle, we saw a lot of lower end properties, $30,000, $40,000 properties. Now we're beginning to see more in that median range, around 160, 150,000. We're seeing more of those kind of show up. That'll give you an idea of what you would expect to see in foreclosure prices here in the Tyler, East Texas market. Now, for more information, or if you want to subscribe to our free weekly foreclosure list, let us know. You can contact us either by phone at 903-534-6626, or you can visit our website at spotlightteam.com, and there'll be a place on there for you to register for that information. We want to thank you for watching this today. Be sure to watch part 3, where we'll talk about the process of getting into foreclosures and financing, and give you some ideas of how to get started if you're interested in that. So again, thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you in our next go round. Thanks. Bye now.